Hi boys and girls, today we're going to be reading a story called How I Became a Pirate, and we're going to be sorting the important details and the not important details. Remember, the important details in a story are the details that tell the story again. The not important details add to the story. It might make it fun or more interesting, but they're not so important that they tell the story. So if I was thinking of an important detail about myself, well, I'm a teacher. A not really important detail about myself is my fingernails are painted pink, okay? So important details tell the story, just like a teacher describes who I am, where not important details might add to it, that my pink fingernail polish makes my fingernails look pretty, but it's not really who I am. It could kind of change, and it really wouldn't affect the story or wouldn't affect who I am. So let's get started reading this awesome book called How I Became a Pirate, and then we're going to sort some details together and decide what's important and what's not important. How I Became a Pirate by Melinda Long and illustrated by David Shannon. Pirates have green teeth when they have any teeth at all. I know about pirates one day because when I was at the beach building a sandcastle and minding my own business, a pirate ship sailed into view. I knew what it was because it had a flag and a skull and crossbones on it, and because I could hear the pirates singing, "Hey ho, blow the man down." They were a little off key. Okay, so an important detail was that the boy was at the beach and saw a pirate ship. A not important detail might be that pirates have green teeth. If the author never said that pirates have green teeth, it wouldn't change the story. That part just adds to the story. But if the author left out that the boy saw a pirate ship at the beach, that would change the entire story. So important details tell the story, and not important details just add to the story or make it a little more interesting. I tried to tell Dad, but he was busy setting up the beach umbrella. I tried to tell Mom, but she was busy slathering my baby sister with sunblock. So I went back to my sandcastle, but I kept an eye on the pirates. By then, they were rowing to shore. So, is it really important that his dad was setting up the beach umbrella? Does that change the story if it wasn't in there? No. Was it really important that the mom was slathering the baby sister with sunblock? Nope, that's not super important. Was it important that the pirates were coming to shore? Yeah, the pirates are now going to be on the shore, and he looks really nervous about that. When they landed, the head pirate climbed out of the boat and yelled, "Ahoy there, matey! Be this the Spanish Main?" "No," I said. "This is North Beach." "Shiver me timbers," the pirate said. "We must have taken a wrong turn at Bora Bora." So he looks really shocked to have seen a pirate. He walked around to my sandcastle. He looked at the moat and then yelled back to his crew, "He is a digger, and he is a good one to boot." "A good one to boot," the others agreed. "What be your name, matey?" the head pirate asked. "Jeremy Jacob, sir," I told him. So here, is it really important that the kid's name is Jeremy Jacob? Does that really add to the story? No, it's nice to know that the boy's name is Jeremy Jacob. But it seems like it is important that the pirates think that Jeremy is a good digger, because the captain pointed that out. He's a digger, he is, and a good one to boot. So that might be an important detail in the story, is that Jeremy is a good digger. "Well, Jeremy Jacob," he said, "you're looking at Braid Beard and his crew. We've been needing a digger like yourself. We've a chest of treasure to bury." "Aye, treasure," the others shouted. "You're coming with us," Braid Beard told me. I didn't think Mom and Dad would mind, as long as I got back in time for soccer practice the next day. So I think it's really important that the pirates were looking for a digger and that they were going to take Jeremy with them. I don't think it's super important that Jeremy has soccer practice the next day. I think if the author took that part out of the story would make sense still. But if the author took out the part where they take Jeremy with them, I think the whole story would be different. So I think that that's an important detail. That is how I became a pirate. Yeah, so it's really important that the pirates took Jeremy with them. And he looks like he's having a good time. As soon as we were on board, Braidbeard showed me the chest of gold and jewels. Got to find a safe place for this here treasure. It's high time we're off, he announced. We're off, we all shouted. And then we set sail. Oh my goodness, look at this treasure. So I think it's important here that they're looking for a safe place for the treasure. They have to find somewhere safe to bury the treasure. Is all the different things in the treasure important? Like all the gold coins and the jewels and things? That part's not super important, but it is important that they need to bury the treasure in a safe place. There's plenty to do on board. The pirates taught me to sing sea chanties. The louder, the better. And to say real pirate stuff like landlubber and scurvy dog. By dinner time, I could speak pirate perfectly. I also learned pirate manners. Braidbeard pounded his fist on the table and yelled, "Down the hatch, me laddies! Down the hatch!" we all shouted. So is it really important to know how pirates speak or the pirate manners? No, that's a fun thing that the book is teaching us, but that's not really telling the story. So I would say that this page doesn't really have a lot of important details. There are some fun details, but they're not super important to tell the story. Braidbeard gulped his food and said, "Hand over the meat! The meat!" we all roared. Nobody told us to finish our spinach. There wasn't any. Or to chew up our carrots. They weren't allowed on board. We talked with our mouthfuls and nobody said please or thank you. So is it really important that nobody told them to finish their spinach? No, that's a silly detail, and I'm sure that Jeremy really likes that no one said to finish the spinach. But if that part was out of the book, the whole story would still make sense. So I don't really think that these two pages have a lot of important details, but they do have a lot of fun details. After dinner, I tried to teach the pirates to play soccer. Braidbeard kicked the ball and yelled, "Arg, soccer! Arg, soccer!" the crew yelled. Then everybody dove for the ball at once, and it rolled right off the deck. "After it, me hearties!" Braidbeard commanded. "After it," we all whispered. We fought over who would go get the ball, but it didn't matter anyways because a shark came along and swallowed it in one gulp. So much for soccer. So this is another page where there's a lot of fun details that make the story more fun to read. But if the author left off this page, the story would still probably make sense. So this was a just for fun page where it added to the story, it made it more fun to read, but it didn't really tell the story, just kind of told what was happening while they were on the pirate ship. And I definitely don't think that I would be going to get that soccer ball. By now, it was past my bedtime, but nobody tells pirates to go to bed, to take a bath, or to brush their teeth. Maybe that's why their teeth are green. Pirates sleep with one eye open, just in case. And they don't change into pajamas unless they want to. Pirates don't do anything they don't want to, except for maybe swabbing the decks. I wanted to be a pirate forever. So Jeremy is really liking being a pirate, but this page is it's fun details, but they're not super important to the story. If the author took out this page, the story would probably still make sense, even though those details are really fun. And now we know why pirates have green teeth, if they have any teeth at all. Look at that guy's teeth. Yuck. That's why you should brush your teeth. But then I found out what else they don't do. When I couldn't stay awake any longer, I asked Braidbeard to tuck me in and read me a story. "Tuck you in?" he bellowed. "Pirates don't tuck. No tucking," the crew cried. And the only thing that they had to read was a map. "Don't you have any books?" I asked. I didn't. Braidbeard looked confused. "Books?" I didn't even bother to ask about a good night kiss. So here, Jeremy has really loved being a pirate until it comes to bedtime, where you can tell Jeremy is not liking this pirate thing anymore because there's no one to tuck him in, no one to give him a goodnight kiss. It wasn't easy to fall asleep without a story, but I was finally dozing off when a storm broke. Thunder boomed and lightning flashed. I tried to hide under the covers as the waves slammed up against the ship, but I kept falling out of my hammock. I couldn't find anyone in the cabin. They were all on deck. "Lower the sails," Braidbeard shouted. "Batten down the hatches." Everybody ran around yelling and lowering and battening. Nobody had time to sit close and tell me it would be over soon. Nobody even noticed me. I decided that I didn't want to be a pirate after all. So Jeremy had a lot of fun, but then a storm came and he was not having fun anymore. He did not want to be a pirate. So that might be an important detail, that pirate life is not for Jeremy. Just then, flash, crash, crack! Lightning hit the mast and split it right down the middle. "What'll we do now?" yelled one of the pirates. "We'll have to turn back," called another. "But the treasure!" hollered Braidbeard. "Where will we bury the treasure?" I stepped forward. "Maybe I can help." I shouted over the wind. "I think I know the perfect digging spot." So I think that this is really important part of this story, where Jeremy is choosing the spot for all of the pirates to bury their treasure. I think that this part is super important. When the storm was over, we rowed back to shore and buried the chest. We drew a map so we could find the treasure again, but I don't think I'll need it. So if you read down here, Jeremy Jacob's backyard. So I think that this is also a super important detail in the story, that they buried the treasure in Jeremy's backyard. So it will always, always, always be close to him. After that, the pirates repaired the ship and got ready to set sail. Before they left, Braidbeard handed me a flag and said, "You make a fine pirate, Jeremy Jacob. Guard that treasure well. We'll be back to get it soon enough." "Soon enough," the crew repeated. "And if you ever need us," Braidbeard added, "just run the Jolly Roger up the yonder pole." "Up yonder pole," the others shouted. "And maybe I will, but not today." Right. So I also think it's important that the pirates finally left again and set sail and left Jeremy there with the treasure. I have soccer practice. All right, so that was the book called How I Became a Pirate. Now that we've read this story, we are going to sort important and not important details. All right, now that we finished the book, How I Became a Pirate, we are going to sort some important and not important details. So on my board, I have important details and not important details, and I have a bunch of details from the story here, and we're gonna sort them and see what details will help tell the story and what details are just extra, just for fun details. All right, so let's start with this one. It says, they buried the chest in Jeremy's backyard. Is this a super important part of the story, is that they buried the chest in Jeremy's backyard? Or was it a just for fun detail? I think that this was a very important part of the story because this is how the story ended. So I'm going to put this in the very important detail spot on my chart. I think it was super important that they buried in Jeremy's backyard because, again, that's how the story ended. And if I want to retell the story, I need to know where they buried the chest. All right, let's look at another one. This one says, nobody tells pirates what to do. Was it super important that nobody tells pirates what to do? Was that a super important detail, or could the story have continued without it? What do you think? I think that this is a not important detail because if that was not in the story, I think that the story still would have made sense. So I'm going to put this over here in the not important detail section. All right, let's try another one. This one says, nobody told them to finish their spinach. Sorry, it's hard to read in the camera. Nobody told them to finish their spinach. Okay, remember this is when he was on the pirate ship and they were eating, but he mentioned that nobody tells pirates to finish their spinach. So would this be an important detail or not important detail? If this part was in the story, will we still know what was happening? Yep, if that part was not in the story, if the author decided to take it out, we would still know what was happening in the story. So I'm gonna put this on the not important detail side. You can get the tape on there. There we go. And it's kind of like this detail too. Nobody tells pirates what to do. All right, let's try another one. Let's do this one. This says, pirates have green teeth. Okay, this was at the very beginning of the story when the author told us that pirates have green teeth. Is this a super important detail? If the author would have left this out, would we still know what the story is about? I think so. So I think this is going to go in the not important detail side. Because that's not a super important detail. I mean, it was a pretty funny detail that pirates have green teeth, but it just adds fun to the story. It's not really a part of the story. Right, let's try another one. Let's do, Mom put sunscreen on little sister. So this is when they're on the beach at the beginning of the story. Is Mom putting the sunscreen on Jeremy's little sister super important? Nope, that's not even about Jeremy. It's just about little sister, and it kind of just showed that Mom and Dad weren't paying attention, but that's not a really important detail in the story. So right now we have lots of not important details. Let's see if we can find an important detail. The pirates dropped Jeremy off. So at the end of the story, was it important that the pirates dropped Jeremy back off on the beach? Yeah, again, that's how the story ends. So that's going to be a super important detail because after they buried Jeremy's chest in the yard, the pirates dropped Jeremy back off. So that's a super important detail that we need in order to tell the story. All right, let's try another one. The pirates needed to bury treasure. Yep, this is going to be a super important detail because the reason the pirates pick Jeremy is because he's a good digger. So the pirates needing to bury treasure is really important. If they didn't need to bury treasure, they wouldn't have needed Jeremy, and the whole story would have been different. So that is going to be an important detail. Put it over here in the important detail side. And when we're done with all of our important details, we should be able to retell the story in a way that makes sense. So let's keep going. We have a few more details left. The pirates took Jeremy to sea with them. Well, yeah, that's super important. That's what the whole story was about. It was about Jeremy becoming a pirate. So Jeremy can only become a pirate if the pirates take him. So this is a very important detail that we're going to put right here. Right, and then next, let's see. Jeremy was a good digger. So could the story make sense without this, or does this really need to be a part of the story? What do you think? I think that this really needs to be a part of the story because the pirates needed to bury treasure. And they needed to bury treasure, and they needed somebody to dig a hole for the treasure. And once they saw Jeremy was a good digger, that's what made them want to take Jeremy to sea. So if Jeremy wasn't a good digger, the pirates wouldn't have wanted him. So this is a very important detail because if Jeremy was a bad digger, the pirates wouldn't want him. So we're going to put that on the important side. All right, we have a couple more. This one said, Jeremy had soccer practice. Now this is one, well, I don't know. It could kind of go both ways. I'm going to say that this is not an important detail. If the author would have changed it to football practice or baseball practice or any other practice, the story would have still made sense. Or Jeremy could have gone anywhere, had anything to do the next day. So I don't think that he had soccer practice was a super important detail because the author could change it or take it out of the story and the story would still make sense. So I'm going to put this with not important because I don't really think it was that important that he had soccer practice. He could have had any practice or anything to do, and the story would have still made sense. All right, let's try another one. We have one more after this. The pirates rowed to shore. So this was at the beginning of the story when Jeremy saw the pirate ship, and he looked to his mom and dad, but they were busy on the beach, and he saw that the pirates were rowing to shore. So this would this be an important detail or a not important detail? I think that this would be important, and I hope that you think that too, because if the pirates never rowed to shore, they couldn't have seen that Jeremy was a good digger. They couldn't have taken Jeremy to sea with them. They couldn't have buried the chest in Jeremy's backyard. So if this didn't happen, the whole story would be ruined. So this is going to be a very important detail. Put it right there. We have one detail left. A boy saw a pirate ship at the beach. So this was the very beginning of the story. Jeremy saw the pirate ship. Is that going to be super important in the story? Yeah, it is. Jeremy needed to see that pirate ship for everything else to happen. So let's put this over here on the important side. All right, now let's look at all of our important details and make sure they retell the story. I'm going to bring you a little bit closer to see them. Oh, sorry. Okay, so let's try to retell in order. So first, a boy saw a pirate ship at the beach. Good. The pirates rowed to shore after that. Then they saw that Jeremy was a good digger. So the pirates took Jeremy to sea with them because the pirates needed to bury treasure. So is the story kind of making sense so far? To me, it is. I know what happened at the beginning, what happened in the middle, and let's see what happened in the end. So then they buried the chest in Jeremy's yard, and then the pirates dropped Jeremy off back at the beach. So all of these important details tell us the story. It tells us what happened and how I became a pirate. But let's look at the not important details and make sure that we're not missing anything in the important details. Nobody tells pirates what to do. Does that really tell the story? I don't think so. Nobody told them to finish their spinach. Does that have anything to do with the pirates burying the treasure? Nope. Pirates have green teeth. Again, it's about pirates, but does it have anything to do with the story that we read? Do we need to know that they have green teeth? Nope, we don't. So I would say that's still not important. Mom put sunscreen on little sister. Does that have anything to do with Jeremy and the pirates burying treasure? Nope. And Jeremy had soccer practice. In this story about Jeremy burying treasure with the pirates, do we need to know that he had soccer practice? Nope, we don't. All right, boys and girls, thank you guys for sorting these with me, and I hope that you learned how to decide between important details and not important details. For your independent practice, you are going to be listening to a story, and I'm going to give you some details about that story. And then you're going to sort the details into what's important, what tells the story back to us, and what's not important, what's just for fun. Right? Let your teacher know if you need any help, and we'll see you next time, boys and girls. Bye.